Thanks to COVID, the release of Black Widow and with it the start of Marvel's Phase 4 was postponed several times. Finally, it's kicking off on Disney Plus with WandaVision, the first of many limited series within the MCU that the House of Mouse has ordered for their streaming portal. Does Marvel's new series effort start with a bang, as it happened for Lucasfilms with The Mandalorian? And does it tell us something about the direction Phase 4 will take? Hi there, it's Micha. Join me in finding out what to expect from WandaVision. Disney dropped not just one, but the first 2 episodes of the new show last Friday. So this review will span across 2 chapters of this 9-episode long event series. Like with Star Wars, I'm familiar with all the cinematic entries, as well as most of the live-action TV shows belonging to the MCU. But I have no clue when it comes to the comic universe. Therefore, I will give you my take from the MCU perspective of things. However, I will do my due diligence and at least research the most important Easter eggs based on comic and animated TV show allusions, so I can share them with you. The show starts off with the Marvel logo transitioning from widescreen into the 4:3 ratio from the earlier days of TV, while also losing the image color. We see Wanda and Vision as newlyweds, moving into the small community of Westview, while a comedy theme song is heard, reminiscing the tunes of the 50s TV era. The main plot starts with them spotting a heart on their calendar, marking the current day, and both of them having no idea what that could mean. While Wanda, with support of her just introduced neighbor Agnes, concludes it must be their anniversary, Vision learns at work that his boss, Mr. Hart, is coming to dinner that evening, a rite of passage for each new employee that may decide their fate at the company. A quick call home where the two completely get their wires crossed doesn't help to clear up things. So when Vision arrives with Mr. Hart and his wife, Wanda had created a romantic mood in the house, and no dinner is prepared. With supplies from Agnes and a little magic, the evening should still work out, but her efforts to try her powers lead to the usual comedic shenanigans and general chaos. In the end, the dinner is served, and while doing simple conversations, they are asked where they moved from and when they got married.
Where did you two move from? How long have you been married? And why don't you have children yet? Our story.
Something both seem to be unable to answer. While they figuratively choke on those questions,
I think what my wife means to say is that we moved from...
Moved from where? Married when? Damn it, why?
Oh, Arthur, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Mr. Hart gets so aggravated, he literally chokes, making Vision use his powers to save him, without anyone noticing. When his thankful employer leaves, he mentions a promotion on Vision's horizon. Happy, Wanda and Vision sit down to kiss, when the credits set in. The first set of credits, that is, while the camera zooms away from the TV that showed the comedy act. In a widescreen surrounding, in color, someone was watching, but you only see a hand, apparently female, when the real credits kick in, giving us a bit of a cabin in the woods vibe. Episode 2 again starts in black and white, or rather sepia. Both stars, each in a separate bed, awake from a knocking sound. As Vision is afraid to check, Wanda magically opens the curtains to find a tree branch hitting the window. We are then treated to an animated TV show title sequence in the style of the 60s, with a theme song to match. The plot this time focuses on a magic act for the town's school fundraiser later that day, with obviously fake tricks. Before their big show, Vision plans to drop by a neighborhood watch meeting, while Wanda joins Agnes at the planning committee. But not before she finds a model helicopter in the bushes, painted in real colors. At the watch meeting, Vision finds out that this is just a cover for the guys to hang out and gossip. Though he doesn't require food, which he said out loud before quickly correcting course, he accepts a chewing gum he accidentally swallows, which jams his inner cogs. Meanwhile, Wanda gets to know Dottie, who runs the neighborhood, and Geraldine, a friendly woman she quickly bonds with. But the interruptions irritate Dottie, who makes Wanda take on cleanup duties after the meeting. There, via radio, someone tries to talk to Wanda, asking, "Wanda, who is doing this to you?" Which makes Dottie break her glass, opening a cut in her hand that presents again as red as, well, blood. At the big event, Vision shows up apparently drunk. With no time to investigate the reasons behind that, both are put on stage, where Vision proudly shows off all his powers: flight, strength, speed, and permeability. With clever showmanship, Wanda made them all appear to be just parlor tricks, to the astonishment of the audience. As final act, they make Geraldine appear in a previously empty wooden box, which left the woman a bit confused. Instead of Dottie blaming them for a botched show, they make first place for comedy, earning Dottie's approval. Back at home, Wanda is apparently pregnant all of a sudden. As they try to kiss, a banging sound from outside is heard, where they see a shadowy figure climbing out of a sewer manhole, someone in a beekeeper's outfit. When he looks at them, Wanda just says no, and the tape of the show is rewinded back to their previous attempt to kiss, which they now do uninterrupted. Color is then creeping in until all sepia is gone. Then they kiss again and the show is over. And we hear the radio repeating, "Wanda, who is doing this to you?" Okay, that's what happened so far. Let's start with the obvious observation: the episode concept. They choose a comedy show format that is changing every chapter, likely by a decade, moving forward in time. We start in the 50s in episode 1, move through the 60s in ep 2, and end up adding color, which opens the door to the 70s in the 3rd episode. If they stick with that progression, they will be in the 80s in episode 4, then in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, arriving today in episode 8, which is the penultimate chapter. Will the last chapter, episode 9, then still play out in the TV world? Or will it be the bridge back into our reality? Or will they leave that setup even earlier? It will remain to be seen. So far the creators did a good job with the visuals, mimicking the set design, camera work and general concept of each epoch, as well as the theme song and title sequence, which all changed in episode 2 to match the new era and will likely continue to change accordingly in future episodes. The animated titles in chapter 2 highly reminds us of Bewitched, a product of the 60s, which actually switched from black and white to color over its 8-season run, as did the 2nd episode at the end. Even most of the visual effects are created in line with the according decade, which is fun to watch and likely helps saving a buck here and there. They threw in even more illusions for the period aficionado, like softening the contours in the 50s episode, making the image a little bit fuzzy as they used to be back then, and adding a nod to the practices and standards of the time, when the pair is shown in separate beds at the start of episode 2, which are then moved together into one bed. Both only possible to show in the 60s, highlighting the shift to another decade early on. And that's only the straightforward stuff I noticed. Unfortunately, copying the contemporary style of the episode structure and the type of jokes they use doesn't offer today's viewers many sincere laughs or connection points. Though this is an understandable and consequent decision by the show's creators to lean into their concept, it makes it harder for the audience to run with it. But they did a great job of breaking the period style when reality comes trickling in, bringing not only color, but changing the camera work and presentation to a more modern approach. Part of the concept of each episode also seems to be focusing on a specific person who challenges them. Mr. Hart in episode 1 and Dottie in episode 2, who are then won over at the end, either by saving the boss from choking to death or delivering a milestone magical act, making sure the fundraiser for the school is a success. Let's see if that will stay a recurring thing. Now let's look on what's actually going on and what will likely happen along the way. Obviously, Vision died in the MCU. Wanda had to sacrifice him so the Mind Stone in his forehead won't be used by Thanos, just for the big guy to turn back time and harvest the stone violently at the end of Infinity War. Last time we saw Wanda was when the Avengers defeated Thanos at the conclusion of Endgame, and everyone assembled at Tony's funeral. What has happened till then? How are they trapped in a TV world? And what does that represent? It could be another dimension or parallel timeline, but that seems unlikely due to the quick movement through time and the according changes. But maybe there are other Earths or other realities that work that way. We can't even be sure that Vision is alive. It might be a prison of the mind or a coma, which is highly likely due to the radio voice trying to reach Wanda. So it might just be her, and Vision is just a figment of her imagination, or part of the design of her prison. But since they are both presented in similar fashion, with similar struggles, it should be the real Vision, trapped alongside Wanda. Both have no memory of how they ended up here, or of their past, but they have an understanding of each other and their powers. So not all of their memories are impacted, just some areas are blocked. So let's concentrate on how they may explain Vision to be back. We know that the next Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, will explore the MCU's multiverse, taking place after WandaVision and has Elizabeth Olsen, Wanda, cast in the lead role. So they could take the easy way out and just bring another Vision from another Earth, which would be a bit of a cheap trick. So I won't bet on that either, although it is the obvious option. My money for now, without having looked into fan theories yet, solely based on what is presented in the first 2 episodes, would be this. The Mind Stone, along with the other gems, was destroyed by Thanos as he retired. That's what we are told at the start of Endgame. Maybe there are fragments to be salvaged? Maybe the essence of Vision is trapped in there and Wanda uses her powers to enter the stone or project her mind into it, and now tries to free him. But the splintering also distorted Vision's memory and Wanda's as well, once she engaged. That way, no matter if she is physically trapped or just her mind, it would make the TV world a good metaphor. They work their way back from the past to our now to regain their memory, step by step, and the TV screen separating them from the real world represents the crystalline outside of a stone. If that is true, they just need a new vessel for Vision. Maybe the new vessel can come from another Earth, where Ultron was stopped before Jarvis was uploaded into the body that became Vision. A body that was never activated, so taking it would do no harm. That would be a satisfying outcome from my point of view. That's my take on the overall story, but let's look at some further details that were presented to us. They tried to create a sense of danger that is highlighted by the fake commercials placed in the middle of each episode. The first shows a toaster made by Stark Industries that had an exhilarating ticking, like a bomb, before the toast popped out. In Chapter 2 it is a watch from Strucker, including a Hydra logo, that is advertised and then starts ticking quicker, the same way as in the previous spot. Agnes keeps referring her husband Ralph, who is yet unseen. Either there is a big reveal around him in a later episode, or this is just a nod to the trope of the unseen cast member in sitcoms. We will see. And what is Computational Services, the company for which Vision works, actually doing? We only know that their productivity grew by 300% since he started. So maybe this indicates an outside force that trapped Vision, or previously harvested his consciousness, to make him work for them? And Wanda has to break him out? Why were their colors already popping in during the episode? And is it of significance that they are the same color of Tony's Iron Man suit? Is this relevant for the show or even a foreshadowing of him coming back into the MCU in any form? Like some rumors say. There's also the repeated saying, "for the children" in Chapter 2, as the fundraiser is for a school. It is said so many times like a mantra that it has to have a deeper meaning, especially since you never see any kids around, not even at the fundraiser event. It might have been just foreshadowing for Wanda being pregnant at the end of the episode. But what will become of this? And if all is just a mind game, how will it impact Wanda to have a kid or kids that are not real at the end of a line? The beekeeper scene at the end of the episode shows that Wanda still has at least some kind of control over the situation, as she can reverse time and change the story. That would fit well with my theory that she is trapped in the Mind Stone, just not knowing it anymore. Which would still not explain the person watching the show from outside. Well, we have more weeks to speculate and adjust our theories, right? Let's address a few of the most common theories and Easter eggs from the web. One theory says that Wanda, in the comics able to create alternate realities and even rewrite reality, created a pocket universe where Vision is still alive. She molded it after the TV shows she watched growing up that formed her view of the US and the Western world in general, which would also explain the town's name Westview, and her accent now being completely American. In this theory, she is aware of it all, as she created this reality and just tries to keep Vision from remembering, from finding out that he himself is just an illusion, like his magician's moniker. I have to say that didn't occur to me while watching the episode. I felt like she is also lost, but it would make sense. The pregnancy might be another way to keep Vision from questioning his reality. Still, that would be a quite unsatisfying scenario, at least on its own. If she does it to extract him back into the real world, it could work. Right now it appears to be a more plausible explanation than my trapped in the Mind Stone theory. We will see. Another theory out there is that Agnes is also a witch. Actually the one who, in the comics, was Wanda's mentor, Agatha Harkness. A name that, by removing a few letters in the middle, can be shortened to Agnes. In the opening credits of Chapter 2, there is also an allusion to her and her familiar, the cat Ebony, on a poster saying Auntie A's kitty litter. Neighbor Agnes apparently also wears the same brooch and familiar clothing as Agatha. Maybe Auntie A helped Wanda to cope by creating a dream world and now tries to rescue her? That would actually fit in with both previously mentioned theories. A big Easter egg is at the end of episode 1. The person watching the show in the real world has the symbol of SWORD on their computer screen, the partnering organization of S.H.I.E.L.D., the one Nick Fury apparently was heading at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. This likely means that they are the ones trying to help. Could that person watching them be Maria Hill then? And is Geraldine an agent of SWORD coming into this reality with the help of Doctor Strange, as her brooch looks like the portal he creates? The beekeeper also has the sword symbol on his suit, so they are obviously trying to get in. Maybe Wanda really is consciously keeping them out, but why? Apparently there are leaked information and confirmed cast details from this show and things that are shown in the trailers from future episodes that would allow more speculation. I will not utilize those details in my review videos, as long as we haven't reached that specific episode. Theories are fine, but no spoilers for future episodes shall be revealed. Well, so much about other theories. Let's look at the rating. And this was a tough one again. The reason? They are clearly planning to drop more hints with each episode, ramping up the interest level each week, getting better with each episode. I have no doubt that the series overall will be fantastic, and in a movie that would work fine. However, in a series that starts out at the lower end of that spectrum, just to be ramped up over time, this is a different story. Looks like the showrunners wrote themselves into a corner by staying true to their own concept. Not every viewer, especially the casual one, will understand or accept that approach and may turn away disappointed. I am pretty sure this is why they dropped 2 episodes to kick things off, to make that idea a bit clearer. But I think they should have dropped all episodes at once, as was originally planned, so people can realize that concept rather sooner than later, or worst case, not at all if they stopped watching. At least that's what I hope will happen, the show getting better with each episode, but maybe it ends up disappointing everyone. Again, I don't think so, it is Marvel after all. And as the series has a reported budget of up to $25 million per episodes, which clearly wasn't reached yet, there is obviously still a lot to come, so fingers crossed.
We just don't know what to expect.
That being said, I cannot rate the episodes on what I hope or expect future chapters to deliver, even though the acting is very strong. So far, the story we are given is rather average and doesn't impress. Yet. But as mentioned, it will hopefully ramp up soon. Therefore, I'm rating Chapter 1 with 5 out of 10 points and Episode 2 earns 6 out of 10. The upwards trend is there. Let's hope we can follow it constantly. How did you like it so far? And do you agree with any of the theories? Or do you have another idea? Let me know in the comments. That's it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, like it and feel free to share it with your friends. And why not subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any future video. Make sure to also hit the notification bell to get a heads up whenever a new video is posted. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching!